Hello everyone, this is Mergu talking about Introduction to Operating System. Myself, Mergu, working as Associate Professor at Walchand Institute of Technology and Department Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. Introduction to OS System. To explain operating system, these are my contents. First of all, what is an operating system? What are the characteristics of an operating system? What are the characteristics of embedded operating system? And the difference between desktop and embedded operating system. Now first go for what is an operating system. So we are using all this in the day-to-day life like monitor, printer, mouse, keyboard, hard disk, a number of applications we are using in our day-to-day life. So all these applications cannot work without operating system. So heart of all this is the operating system. Now let us talk about what is an operating system in a broader sense. The collection of software that manages a system's hardware resources is nothing but an operating system. It includes a file system module, a GUI, other components. Oftentimes, a kernel is understood to be a subset of such a collection. So, operating system is like an interface between the hardware and the user, and to perform the applications, there is a need of operating system. Now, as I have talked about what is an operating system, here I can ask you a question like, can you pause the video for some time and list out the systems where the operating system is used in the devices that you use in day-to-day life? So pause the video for 2 minutes and write what are the different devices that you use which included the operating system in it. Fine, thank you. So I hope you may have written or listed the different devices which in which the operating system is there. So first of all, the very basic device that we all know is the PC, that is computer system. Second is our smartphones, mobile phones, which includes the operating system in it. Smart washing machine. Nowadays we are using the washing machines which talk to us. So those are smart washing machines, or they work automatically on their own and take the decisions. That is nothing but due to the operating system. Then programmable devices which perform multitasking. All those devices are included in the operating system. I'm sure you may have listed few of these devices. Now let us talk about what are the characteristics of an operating system. So the characteristics of operating system are resource management. First characteristic is resource management. The objective is to allocate the resources so as to optimize responsiveness of the subject to finite resources available. That means managing the resources. So that is resource management. Second is operating system is an interface between the application and the hardware. So OS provides the services to communicate with the hardware. It acts as an interface. Third is all the library functions are needed to perform some application. So all these library functions are the building blocks to perform the applications which are known as API, application specific interface. Now, let us talk about the characteristics of embedded operating system. Up till now we have talked about in general what is an operating system, but here now think about embedded operating system. As the name is embedded, it is for a particular application, the embedded operating system. Now you can see here in the diagram, operating system along with the application together in some layer, in one layer is called as embedded operating system. So between the user and the hardware, operating system is running, but in this operating system we have added some application, particular application or applications is called as embedded operating system. So fusion of the application and OS in a single unit is called as embedded operating system. Now, what are the characteristics of embedded operating system? Of course, the characteristics are moreover the same, like resource management is one of the very similar characteristic of general like that of the general operating system. But in the resource management here, the embedded operating system is managing the resources which are primarily internal resources. Remember, these are all the internal resources. Beyond that, another characteristic is code of operating system, which is residing in the ROM, and the application also resides in the ROM, so that the overhead is reduced. So these are the characteristics of embedded operating system. What are the characteristics of embedded operating system that we are continuing with is the configurability, that the single OS will not fit for all needs, and no overhead is included of the functions which we are not using. So the name is called as configurability, that we have configured it for the particular application. Interrupts are not restricted to OS. Beyond that, its characteristic is device drivers often not integrated into a kernel. Embedded systems often are application specific and for the specific devices. So device drivers are not integrated into kernel. Another thing is that for desktop operating system, many devices are assumed to be present, like disk is there, network is there, audio devices are there. All these are for desktop operating system. They need to be integrated to low-level software stack. Another characteristic is that protection is optional, often optional. So embedded systems are designed for a single purpose, which are untested programs rarely loaded, and thus software is very reliable. It is considered reliable. Now, the difference between the desktop and embedded operating system. Desktop is what? The applications are compiled separately from OS. Whereas in embedded operating system, application is compiled and linked together with the embedded OS, embedded operating system. And once we start the system, that's when the system is booted, application usually get executed first and then starts the real-time operating system, that is RTOS. And secondly, typically only part of the RTOS, like in the RTOS, the different sections are there, and that some parts like services, routines, functions which are needed that supports embedded application system are configured and linked in the embedded operating system. So this is all about the introduction of operating system, and thank you all for your patient listening.